My guy, my guy.
What's going on? What's going on, Royal? How's your week been?
Slow motion, but as they say, man, slow motion is better than no motion,
Amen to that, man. Reached the end of another week. Some people are still getting to it.
right?
Um, but with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching us. My name is Gatsby,
I'm Royal Rel.
and you're tuned in to the latest edition of State of the Week, brought to you by State Your Claim. And Royal, I know there's a couple things you want to tell the community, tell the people, tell them.
Yeah, I need you guys to do me three things, three favors. I need you guys to like, I need you guys to comment, and I need you guys to subscribe. And I also need you guys to follow us on all the all the social platforms, because we're on them all. So
We
please
are.
just do those favors.
We
That's it.
are.
It's not
We
too
are.
much to ask, is it?
Yeah, not
I
too
don't
much
think.
to ask. I don't think so. I don't think so. We probably have more to ask them, in the future. But at least for right now,
Absolutely.
we're gonna keep it light for you. And again, we appreciate you all tuning in to another edition of State of the Week. So look, let's just get right into it. Interesting week. Um, so I want to start out with pretty much the OG of OGs within streetwear. Now, rarely do we really discuss rumors, and we want to just preface this that this is a rumor that's
Right.
circulating, right? But man, if this is true, I it's like went to heaven. Okay, so I want to just talk about Sean Stussy for a second. If you don't know who Sean Stussy is, real quick crash course. By the last name, you should understand the impact that he's had, right? So he's the founder of Stussy, founded in 1980, highly celebrated streetwear brand, has tentacles all over the world, literally all over the world. When you think of streetwear, when you think of fashion, this thing that we love, he has had a huge part in what that is today. Without Stussy, you don't get Union, New York. Okay.
Uh-uh.
Without Stussy, you don't get Supreme.
All right, I was waiting on it.
Without Stussy, you're not getting undefeated. Now,
Mm-mm.
some people would say that some of these things could have existed. Now, maybe they do, but the impact and the levels to it are much different. So let's just get that out the way. If you want to learn more about Sean Stussy, please go and do your Googles.
I
Please go and
mean,
do
you
your
gotta.
research. Go ahead.
I mean, you gotta add to it that a lot of those guys, they're thinking, oh, that Stussy paved the way. You gotta understand that a lot of those guys were his employees.
That's right.
That's
So
the part you got it to. That a lot of those guys were his employees.
James
That
Jebbia,
yeah.
right? Eddie Cruz,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the list goes on, right? We could
Right.
do a whole show on Sean Stussy,
We just
right?
might. Just
Now that
might.
would be a good one. Let us know in the
Yeah.
comments if you'd like to hear something like that,
Yeah.
okay?
Please do. Please
Yeah,
do.
please do. Okay. So, Royal, there's a rumor going on, and there's a couple outlets have been picking it up that there could be a film, right, about Stussy, but through the lens of Sean Stussy. A lot of people have talked about the origins. Pretty
Uh-huh.
much all his former employees have talked about the origins and how they've seen it in their perception. But we don't really hear much from Sean himself. I mean, he's done a lot of
Never.
stuff since he's passed, Stussy on down. But just kind of curious on with something you want to see. It sounds like it is. Tell me your thoughts if this is a reality.
I absolutely 1000% want to see it. I like
Right.
watching all the fashion movies.
Right.
So, and then especially one that's gonna be about streetwear, I'm tuning in immediately. It's a
Mhm.
no-brainer for me. I don't even have
Mhm.
to elaborate. I'm gonna watch it.
Right, right. I guess the biggest question is it gonna be more of kinda just old footage that he's been documenting this whole time? Or perhaps it's gonna actually be a film where he has someone play him, right? And there's gonna be actual, people who play these characters. I mean, this part I don't know. Do you have a preference on what you would wanna see out of it? Are you more like raw footage you wanna see from the beginning? Or would you wanna see something like, I don't know, like more of a Hollywood type of produce type of
I mean,
situation.
when you have the raw footage, it always hits home
Mm,
a lot closer,
right.
but if it's a Hollywood production of his story, along the lines of like Notorious and stuff like that,
Right.
I'm cool with that too.
I'm
I'm
cool
cool
with
with
that
that as
too.
well. I just want to know the story. That's all.
Right, right. I just wanna hear it from him.
Right.
Y y
Exactly.
I mean, he's been very elusive over the course of the years. Now, Sean has still done a lot of things. I mean, he's worked with Dior, he's got the,
Right.
Double S that he is working on right now, so really curious. So he actually, commented on, a post on IG or whatever, and I wanna just read this quote to you and what he said. He said, "This story and its lineage is my story to tell someday. Even with all the heads involved, it's only human to see it from different perspectives. The
Right.
byproduct of me giving my few interviews over the years is when phone historians, that's funny, phone historians do their homework slash due diligence, they can only have these limited base materials to start with." So I feel like, he's putting it out there, very cryptic, very non-committal, but it's got me intrigued. It's definitely got you intrigued.
Absolutely. And for the record, because I don't even know why we're even having this conversation, but it's Stussy. It's not Stussy. People still say Stussy. It is Stussy. It's always been Stussy and
Always,
always will be Stussy. So
always.
please stop saying Stussy. It's not Stussy.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you. I mean, listen, I want to hear about that international tribe. I want to hear about those beginnings. I want to hear about him, the early beginnings of his life, him being a surfer and then getting into fashion, getting into hip hop. I mean, all that, everything. So we hope that this happens. So anything else you want to talk about in terms of this rumor?
No, just real quick. How did you find out? All right. How and when did you find out about Stussy?
Oh, that's a good question. So how I found out about Stussy is actually watching MTV. MTV. I'll be
Explain.
I'll be honest with you. Watching
Explain.
MTV. So MTV had all these shows. They had with the grind. They had all these different
Yeah.
programming,
Yeah.
and at that point they were putting all these different genres together in a
Uh huh.
30-minute clip, right? So you have Snoop and Dre show their video, then it would be Counting Crows,
Uh
then it
huh.
would be Nirvana, right?
Right.
Then it would be Green Day. So you're just watching all this. I'm just watching all this happen. Tupac, all this within 30-minute period. I'm seeing all these different styles. And I remember in one of the videos, I'm seeing actually a rock man wearing Stussy. To be
Oh,
honest,
you said rock band. That's how. Oh, okay.
so that I'm telling you that's how I first saw it. That's how I first saw it. I
All right.
saw it through music videos,
All
and
right.
then
Cool.
it and then hold, let me take a step further. And then you know being in the malls, I saw it in before it was called PacSun Pacific Sunwear. So that's the first time I actually saw Stussy in the
That's
store.
further down. Yeah, that's further down the line. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that was my beginning of actually like visually seeing Stussy, and then I also saw, people wearing it, made me want it. Rest is
So,
history.
all right. So my story is a little bit similar. For a second, I thought you were going to say my story, but you didn't. So how I found out about Stussy is I'm watching Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg's "Let Me Ride" video.
Yep.
Ice Cube comes out of the bathroom and he's
Yeah.
wearing a Stussy shirt. And I
Yep.
was like, yo, I be seeing that brand when I'm
Yep.
downtown.
Yep.
So the next time I went downtown, to Soho, I went to the store and the shirts back then were like $25.
Cheap.
So, I ended up picking up one, but that's how I found out about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So that was the Let Me Ride video that
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Mhm. Yeah,
Rolling
he
in
came
my
out the
six
bathroom.
four.
Yep.
Yep. And he said
Yep.
today
Yeah.
was a good day. So listen.
Exactly. Exactly. He had a
If
Stussy shirt, and that's how I
yeah,
found out about Stussy. Because,
that's
like I said,
right.
I was like, "Damn, wait, I be seeing this store downtown."
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we from the same era, so
Right.
That's crazy. So wow, music videos, people.
Hey,
You
that
know,
was the way you hey, man, that was our Instagram. MTV and MTV, Yo MTV Raps, TRL
rap,
Live,
rap city,
Rap City,
rap
yeah.
city, and then
We
in real
yeah,
life. You know what I mean? That was it.
facts,
That was it. So
facts.
yeah, that's my personal Stussy story. And then one last thing, I remember then it was Massimo that came and kind of watered down, Stussy almost in the same font. But again, we can go on for days and days about that. So any case, yeah, shout out to Sean Stussy, one of the goats for real, in this space. Okay, so let's move on. We'll keep it within fashion. And we're talking about spring summer 26 for Denim Tears, led by Tremaine Emery. And,
Uh-huh.
I think what we're seeing now, Royal, is that it's not just about the clothes for any of these brands, it's the
Right.
rollout. How are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier this week, recently, you open up IG. What do I see? I see the queen. I see Lauryn Hill. First of all, you don't see Lauryn Hill really ever.
I'm
Okay.
surprised she showed up for the shoot.
I mean, I want to, first of all, I want to know,
Yeah.
I want to know, was she late? Was she on time? How late was she for the show?
Word, I mean, that it could be how many cancels, how many times did she cancel? How many or my fault, how many times did she reschedule?
Reschedule. Yeah.
Yeah, how
Let's
many
be
times
nice.
she reschedule?
Right, right, right. You know what I mean? How long did this take? Okay. So what we're talking about is not only Lauryn Hill wearing cotton reed, she had all six of her kids in the shoot as well. I don't even know how they pulled that off, but this is a part of that Denim Tears rollout. Obviously, they're in the cotton wreath. Look like the raw denim sets that they recently released. The photography, the photo shoot was amazing, done by Liam McCrae. Shout out to him and his photography skills. And then additionally, on top of that, down in Soho, we're seeing Kasaka Zumbi, right, walking around in stilts with the cotton wreath as well. So they did it in Soho, and then I believe they also did it in Brooklyn, kind of like this, campaign, almost like a fashion show, just right in the middle of Soho, right, just kind of showing the actual clothing. So I guess my question for you is, who's had a better rollout this year than Denim Tears? And do you think that perhaps the rollout is almost become bigger than the actual product? Just curious on there, how you think about that.
Yeah, I think with most brands, the rollout is bigger than the actual product. I mean,
Mhm.
this last week we were talking about Nigel Sylvester. Even this week, Nigel Sylvester,
Right.
he dropped a whole song.
He did.
So the rollout is definitely bigger than a product nowadays. But I think when it comes to Tremaine,
Mhm.
I feel like he's his rollouts are very underappreciated. Because
Mm.
I don't think enough people care that it's Lauryn Hill, who is the queen, you know, and it's her kids, and then the African, the African references,
Mhm.
you know, Afro Caribbean references with them walking through the streets with the stilts and stuff. Like
Right.
people aren't making a correlation, and it's just and it all coincides with Denim Tears, you know, diaspora, what the brand stands for, but I just
Mhm.
don't think it's appreciated enough. And I'm not saying Tremaine didn't do a great job. He did an excellent job. He
100%.
overachieved, but it still to me is and will be underappreciated. Cause at the end of the day, that's just my problem with Denim Tears in general, with the brand. He's telling great stories, not just people just think people just don't give a fuck because people just care more so about what it looks like. And yes, that is the ultimate goal. Does it look good? Does it feel good? But it's like on one hand, we got people like, oh, I wish there was a story with it. And then when someone gives you a story, it's like crickets.
Well, you know what? I feel like maybe it's not as appreciated as it will be years down the line. We
Yeah, that's
talk
always the
about,
case. Yeah, that's
right,
always
it's
the
always the
case.
case.
That's all.
Listen, when we were previously talking about, Sean Stussy and when he was getting started and he was
Uh-huh.
flipping logos and taking high fashion logos and putting double S's on it instead. I don't know if that was appreciated. As a matter of fact, it was shitted on at the time, and now it's looked at as being genius, right?
Right.
And so I think for Tremaine, the most important thing for him is to keep doing great work, right? Because what he's creating, he's paving a way for this to be actual history, and that's what he's doing through his clothing. I mean, pretty much all his drops have very strong storytelling. And I do think that sometimes when it's in that kind of mix of week to week where you have to do these drops, the shelf life for it doesn't last nearly as long because
Right.
just the cycle
Right. I
of
agree.
everything.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Mhm.
But for those who are paying real attention to it, yo, he continues to bring it. He continues to bring it. Him and his team, not just him, his family. If you know anything about Denim Tears, it's family ran business. So any case, shout out to him. Shout out to everything he's doing. Really enjoyed that rollout. Go to the store if you live in New York. If you're in Atlanta, go to Lenox. I think they have
Yeah,
uh
Lenny Square. Yeah.
they got they got a I wouldn't say a store necessarily, but they have a installation there right now. So shout out to him. Anything else you want to talk about in terms of that rollout with Denim Tears in the spring summer with Lauryn Hill and her family and obviously the stilt walking in Soho and all that.
Yeah. Support black
Mhm.
designers who make good product. I'm not just gonna support you because you black, because some of y'all be making some bullshit. I don't give a fuck about a shirt with a gun with a heart on it. No, I'm not supporting you. That shit's trash. But for all the black designers who put their heart into it and actually make good product, make sure you support them.
100%. Black history every day, all the time, not just in February, y'all. So let's get it. Let's get to it.
You hear 'em, right?
And
All right.
what we doing right now? What we doing right now? All right. Moving on. Okay, so nostalgia is the name of the game right now, bringing things back. So we have Ice Cream, Reebok, the board flip returning this year, returning this summer.
Mhm.
Okay, so this sneaker that you're looking up right now was originally released in 2005. First of all, real, that's crazy that this shoe released in 2005. You remember when this dropped?
Yeah, I got the original pairs.
There you
It's
go.
fresh.
There you
I
go.
posted them on the gram. I
When?
posted them.
Yeah.
When? Imma
Yeah.
tell you when. I was gonna get to that later on after you finish saying,
Okay, okay.
going through your
Well,
dialogue.
you jumping the gun telling me that you posted. Now I'm like, when? But whatever. Let me get to
Art
it. So
Basel. I posted Art Basel, what?
okay, there we go. Okay, all right. So this shoe is gonna get released to the masses now. It was released at Complex Con late last year. It was exclusive to roughly 500 pairs. Complex Con, you go out there, you spend the money on product. That's really all it is. It seems to me at that point. Now they did have the OG colorway. Don Tolliver also had his own colorway called the Banana Split. That was on a pre-order, so apparently some people are starting to get those now.
Right.
But this shoe is actually dropping May 1st exclusively on bbcicecream.com. The global drop is happening on May the 6th on Reebok.com and also in select boutiques. The cost is going to be $150. So you're going to see that watermelon OG colorway, and it's going to be a new colorway, the pink lemonade colorway. I would say the main difference is just kind of the messaging and the rollout, right? If we think about 2005 Skateboard P, right?
Right.
The BBC Ice Cream team, we're
Yes.
thinking of Terry Kennedy, okay?
Yes.
We're thinking of Terry Kennedy, Fly Society. Don't forget about him doing Fly Society, by the way.
Right.
We're thinking Jimmy Goretti, co-founder of Standard Issues, Jacob Walder, other skaters, Kevin Booker,
Yeah,
and
Jacob, yep.
and Cato Williams, right? So to really back that shoe, they had their own skate video at the time. So do we need more of this? Like, sometimes I feel like, they bring back things that people don't really want. How you feeling about this coming back?
I'm trying to see when I posted this. It
Mm.
might be Complex Con, but nevertheless, if you guys can see, $80 was what they cost me. It's the original box.
Uh-huh. Crazy.
Yeah, that's the back, the original back. Some the original pair. I still have them, still fresh.
Moment in time, man. Moment in time.
Like that. I don't know if it still has this Reebok paper and stuff like that. It might have been Complex Con. I can't remember if it's Complex Con or Art Basel. Probably is Complex Con. I'll say all this to say, I feel like while it's still welcome for them to drop them, I feel like they're a little late.
Mm.
Like I feel like the hype, like when they showed them at Complex Con, the hype was up here. I feel like the hype meter's down here now. You know, like people, like I saw some Complex Con, they were going for 500. I don't know if you can move that shoe now for more than $25 over, $50 over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
You
see.
know, we'll see. But I feel like they hyped everyone up. Oh, they're coming back. They're coming back. Everyone's hyped for it, and then they're like, okay, we dropped some here, but if you guys want some more, just wait till May. Like, why?
So it's like, why do we have to wait? So you would have liked to have seen that shoe drop a lot sooner after Complex Con is what I'm hearing you say, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like you built everyone up to get the shoe, and then everyone was dying to have it at Complex Con, and then you know, then after that, you're like, okay, well, if you want it, we'll drop them in May. Sort of kind of alluding to you had the same problem. You said the same thing about the 95s, the Neon 95s. Like,
Uh-huh.
why did you guys drop this in boutiques and then you got to wait a year later to get them? Like, what
Same
sense does
thing.
that make?
Right, right.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel you. I think the only thing I can point to is maybe they wanted to test the market and actually see, like, do people really want them? Would they care? Like, do they actually care? What's the chatter about online
Right.
afterwards? But yeah, for the because I think what happens is now you enter this crowded, sneaker calendar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Spring, summer, there's a lot of things coming out. Now I'm not sure all that's coming out on May 1st and then again on May 6th, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's just kind of caught up in the mix. The one thing I will say, this just brings me back to that Pharrell's, skateboard P in my mind, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Time frame and I don't know, man. It's cool. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the skaters be a part of this. I want to say Jimmy Garechi was a part of some of the narrative leading up to Complex Con, right?
Right.
But I would love to see like more of that ethos, with the rollout. But now it's lifestyle. It is what it is. Pharrell's in a different place, but
Let,
hey, man,
let me ask you.
what's up?
Let me ask you. Where do you see this shoe fitting in today's landscape?
I mean, I need you to be a little bit more specific when you ask me that. When you say that, what do you mean? Like in
Like,
terms
do
of
you do you feel
like
like this shoe? Feel like this shoe fits in today? In today's fashion, do you feel like the board flips fit?
I don't think it fits in terms of like what's trending or what's trendy right now, but also I like something that kind of changes things up.
Like, all right, my thing is like with the board flips, I feel like when you combine that with the ice cream, with the Bathing with all the stuff that was out back then, I
BBC.
feel like it fit in perfectly with that. I feel like in today's like fashion, that's when like, do you
Right.
feel like it fits in? I
Yeah.
mean, I know people are wearing huge jeans right now, so
Mhm.
of course that'll look good with it, but I'm just like, I
Sure,
don't.
for sure. Yeah, but
Mhm.
listen, sometimes we gotta switch the algorithm up. I mean, I don't because nothing, trends are here for a while and then things revert back to the way they once were. Like nostalgia is always gonna play a big role. I feel like every 10 years people like to dig back into the archives. I mean, vintage is still, I think, a very big thing. right now, you know, everything's cyclical.
I mean, I think this is my personal opinion.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, I still have my pair. If I wear them, I don't know. But sometimes I feel like some things were just meant for that time and that time only.
Mhm.
That's just
Yeah.
how I feel. Would should Reebok bring back G units? You know what I'm saying? Like
Should
dead
they bring back
ass.
the S Dot Carters? I mean, well,
No. You know
no.
what? They bring those back today. No, you know why? Because nowadays kids will literally just go out and get the Gucci's if they can get them.
Right. Right.
They'll literally like you'll see you might see a middle schooler with it, like the Gucci. So
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different discussion. You you
Yeah,
know?
so
Yeah. But I don't know. Nonetheless, definitely brings me back. Obviously,
yeah, it definitely still does.
you got the OG shoe. And just one last thing, I mean, the fact that Pharrell is just, you know, just all over the place, whether it's Louis V, whether
Uh-huh.
it's Adidas. I mean, he still is a part of BBC Ice Cream. Like these are still his brands, people. You know, to do work with Reebok, it's a different time in fashion. You know what I mean? It's definitely a different time in fashion. There's way more flexibility than what there's ever been. So, if you want them, those are the dates. Go get them. Go get them, y'all. Enjoy. All right. Anything else you want to talk about on that subject?
Nah, no, I'm
Okay.
good.
Cool. All right. Last but certainly not least, let's take it back to some high fashion. Mason Margiela. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah. So obviously we talked about Tabby Mania and all that, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. So they had this month-long rollout over in China called the Umbrella Mason Margiela Folders, right? So it's a month-long initiative going on near Hong Kong, obviously led up by creative director Glenn Martins, previously at Diesel, replaced John Galliano. If you don't
Uh-huh.
know, you know. But the biggest event, the closeout event, was Binchetto, okay? Altier was an experience where it was open to the public, where they could actually bring in their own pieces of clothing, okay, and have that signature white paint treatment that Margiela puts on shirts, shoes, you name it. And if you know anything about this actual design that we're seeing up on the screen, after a while, the paint will chip and crack. So think of it like a new Nike store opens, you can customize Air Force Ones, but you can literally bring anything. So Royal, the thing that really stuck out to me, this was free 99. There was no cost for this.
Yeah, I wish they did that over here, man.
My goodness, what? And it didn't have to be a Margiela piece. You could literally bring anything. So my question for you, actually two questions for you. Should more high fashion brands be doing this? And if you were there, you bring one thing from your closet. One thing. What's that one thing you bring from your closet that you want to get that special Bianchetto treatment?
Um, wait, what was the first question?
Okay. Should more should more fashion brands, more high fashion brands be doing things like this?
Always, always. I always feel like high fashion brands should do more things like that because it costs so much fucking money.
Mm,
You can never do enough, if you
right,
ask me. You know,
right.
so that's that. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
What piece? Oh man, when you sort of built up to it, I figured that's what you were about to ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a couple Margiela pieces, but I wouldn't. Not saying even though Margiela is actually doing it, I don't want to say ruin it. I don't. I wouldn't. I don't want those.
Mhm.
I want to leave those as is. I think I have a trench coat in here
Okay.
that I could get it done to, and I also I have two leather jackets in between my leather bomber or one of my hooded leather jackets that would get done. And I actually own a couple, couple pairs of shoes that have the beam shadow treatment on them. So definitely go
Mhm.
with it. How
Okay.
about you?
Yeah, so it would be two things for me. Uh, number one, I had to go with some Jordan 3 black cements. I would want to get that treatment only
I didn't even think
because
about sneakers. That's a good. I didn't even think about sneakers.
so I would love to get those treated, and just have my little one-on-one because to me, I feel like the Jordan 3 black cement is a perfect sneaker, number one.
Uh-huh.
And to get that type of treatment on there, I don't know, it's just high fashion meets the 3, which was the most pivotal sneaker
I
for
ain't mad at you,
Jordan.
brother.
It was the
Yeah.
make or break shoe, you know what I mean? There's so much history behind it. Um, it's that shoe where I feel like it wears in well, plus that treatment,
Uh-huh.
man, I feel like that would look crazy. And then, yeah, I would say, one of my leather jackets. One of my leather jackets, you know what I mean? Like, that's just
Yeah.
because that's just gonna be like a beautiful eyesore. You know what I mean? You wanna
Right.
talk about seeing some fly shit from way down the block? That's
Yeah.
that. And then when you come up close and you see my threes with that treatment, it's game over. Now, I'm not saying I wear it at the same time, but I'm just saying though, either or, it's curtains. It's curtains. Yeah, I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning. So those would be my two. But if I had to choose one, I'm bringing my threes.
I honestly I didn't think about shoes.
Yeah. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
but I mean, like I said, I already got shoes with that treatment,
for
and
sure, for sure,
I love how they're aging.
for sure. And so do I, right? And I got some Margellas with that, but just kind of that off kilter. You don't see it, happening. So yeah, man, that's what it would be for me. And I do agree with you. I feel like more high fashion brands should be doing this. Um, because I feel like they're just in a different air, in a different space so many times.
Uh-huh.
Things seem so unobtainable. Um, and to bring it down to that level for people to just experience the brand in different ways, you got to get back at a certain point. I feel like more brands should be doing shit like this just in general. It shouldn't just be like, oh well, sneakers alerted you, you can get the shoe. Like it should be more. It should be more. Like these people are spending their last. So
Right. Right.
spending their last all the time. And brands, this shit. Don't act like you don't know this shit. And I get it. We talk about get money, get money, get money, okay? But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you do something nice with somebody, that'll make them want to support you even more. Personally, professionally, commercially, it doesn't matter. So I love it.
Me too. I don't think they could do it. I mean, I wish they do it in New York, but it
Oh,
might
no.
all hell might break loose.
Listen, back to back weeks. You already said it. When it comes to New York, openings, folks don't know how to act. We talked about the Palace,
Oh
Air
yeah,
Max
they
95s.
burnt Soho. They burnt the loop at Soho. Nike Soho open. They burnt the loop at that. That's all they do out here, man.
For
Burn
what? I'm like, what?
for
For
some
what?
gamblers.
For what?
For nothing.
For nothing.
Releasing GRs, regular shit.
Insane. Can't have anything nice, huh?
Nothing.
Mm. All right, man. Well,
Huh.
that's all. That's all I have. I know sometimes you got something else to say.
Bro, it's 2 weeks in a row, man. I'm flat.
Damn.
I'm flat.
All
But I
right.
will say this, man,
Yeah. What's
and
up?
I will say what I always say.
Tell him.
If you like something, you're dick riding. If you don't, you're hating. With that said, do you.
Do you?
And also, in the midst of you doing you, how about you do us a favor and you like, you comment, and you subscribe. And once again, follow us on all the socials because we're up there. Okay? All
We
right?
here. And clearly, we not going anywhere.
Nah,
You know,
nah,
we just
nowhere.
we literally just getting started. You can count on us every single week. We know you're busy. We know you're doing your thing. You're out here living your life. We got you covered. And let us know what you all want us to talk about. Keep an open mind to it. Not saying we always going to talk about what you want to talk about, but let us know in the comments. Hit us up, hit us in the DM, talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, this has been another edition of State of the Week. My name is Gatsby.
I'm Royal Rel.
And we are out, y'all. We appreciate you. Be safe out there.
Always, man. Peace.
Claim your